Life is extremely unfair, and that is the truth. Because why then on earth would people work so hard, work tirelessly, wake up so early, and then go to bed extremely late in the night, grinding from dusk till dawn, and still live paycheck to paycheck? And then there is a fraction of people in the economy who fly all the private jets, who take all the good opportunities that actually spring out of the economy. Now, in this video, I'll be explaining the 5 secrets of the ultra rich that you need to know and how you can take advantage of these things, put them into practice, and then constantly build wealth and to sustain yourself and your family in the long run. But just before that, if you're new here, my name is Nana. I hold a master's degree in business finance, and on this channel, we discuss everything personal finance and personal development. And so, the surest thing that you need to know, first of all, is that building wealth is not by way of luck. People do not stumble and fall into riches. They take calculated attempts in order to build and to sustain wealth in the long run. And so they build habits over the years that actually ensures that they are disciplined, they stick to their budget, and then eventually they're able to steer themselves towards the attainment of their financial goals. And so without further ado, we move straight to the first one, which is to take advantage of the silent wealth builder, otherwise known as compound interest. So one of the easiest ways for you to become a multi-millionaire and even possibly a billionaire in the future is to invest in the stock market, because one of the hallmark of the ultra rich is that they all invest in the stock market, and on average the S&P 500 return anywhere between 6 and then 8% every single year. And so that is one of the surest way to protect your money against the ravages of inflation, that is your money actually losing value over the years, and then also to build wealth in the long run. And the easiest way that you can do this is to actually buy fractional shares. And you can set up a brokerage account and then contribute every single month or even on a weekly basis into the stock market by investing as little as 10 or 20 pounds. I'll link a video down in the description that can help you to start investing and then build wealth over the long run. But contrary to whatever you might be thinking, you don't need huge sums of money to start investing. Investment is not for the rich either. It is the surest way for you to build and to sustain wealth in the long run. And so don't get scared about what you might actually be contributing over the years, because the dream is to actually get the discipline to actually contribute something at the end of the week or probably at the end of the month, so that you can also take advantage of the power of compound interest and to sustain yourself in the long run. This brings us to the second secret of the ultra rich, and that is it isn't about how much you earn, it is more importantly about how much you're able to keep. So there's one thing that they know, that living below your means actually helps you to earn more and to probably invest more and to save more. And that is one of the surest ways for you to become wealthy. What you need to know is that in a recent survey, over 65% of all Americans earning over $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck, which simply means that they don't have anything left at the end of the month. And so the surest way to avoid this is to live below your means, try as much as possible, and then cut unnecessary expenses or things that might not fall under the category of needs, which also ensures that you have enough to invest and to save, more importantly, at the end of the year. And that is the surest way for you to actually take advantage of the compound interest effect that we spoke about in the first instance and then build wealth in the long run. This brings us to the third secret of the ultra rich, and that is to simply network like a social butterfly with a purpose. So one of the key things that actually set me so much back in life was the fact that I was brought up in isolation. So when I was very young, my parents didn't allow me to go out to play with my friends and all that. And so I grew up in isolation. And so when I grew up, I didn't have the confidence to approach people. And then fast forward, when I got to uni, I ran for the office of Student Representative Council President. And that really had a toll on me, because people simply asked, how can this guy actually lead us when he doesn't even greet us when he meets us? How can he actually present our plights to the school management board? And how can he actually push our agenda or actually advocate for things in our interest when he's not even confident enough to actually mingle or to build networks in society and, of course, on campus? That was one of the surest ways for me to actually lose the election. Had it not been the fact that I actually quickly befriended people that were very sociable, people that could make friends, could convince people. And as a result of that, I was able to have access to their networks, and then subsequently, I won the election. One of the surest ways for you to build wealth is to actually have a network of people that you can call in times of need, or people that can actually lead you to opportunities. That is one of the surest ways that the ultra rich actually reach the heights that they are currently. they have someone on their contact list to call. And that is one of the things that you need to know. So at this point, try as much as possible and then make all the friends that you can, people that can actually drive you and push you a step closer towards the attainment of your goals. This brings us to the fourth secret of the ultra rich, and that is to diversify. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, they say. So, one of the surest ways for you to build wealth is to have multiple streams of income. On average, the average multi-millionaire has got at least 7 streams of income, and that actually helps them to fortify themselves and their families, and of course, their finances against any economic turmoil that is likely to arise in the future. For instance, we've seen the several fluctuations in the stock market as a result of the tariff war between the US, China, Mexico, and even the European Union. That has had a massive toll on several companies out there. So if you're not in a position to actually earn more through other streams of income and that you're reliant solely on the stock market, that is one of the surest ways for you to lose wealth and to actually lose money in the long run. But contrary to that, the ultra rich know this and they actually find several ways to make money aside, what they actually rely on or what they actually earn through dividends on the stock market. And so that is one of the surest ways that you can build wealth. And that is what you need to sit down and then assess. Ask yourself the simple question: how can I also take advantage of this by diversifying my streams of income? What is the one thing that I'm so good at that people would pay me to get done for them, or probably to teach them to do it? If you're able to ascertain, you're able to come to realization that you're good at that skill, try as much as possible and then commercialize that skill. You can even list on freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr and then teach people how to do that or do it for them and then diversify your income streams. That is one of the surest ways that you can actually build wealth and then sustain yourself in the long run. This brings us to the fifth and the last secret of the ultra rich, and that is to leverage debt wisely. So there are two types of debt generally. That is one, a good debt, and then a bad debt. And the truth is, more often than not, poor people tend to shy away from debt altogether, or they use debt wrongly. And this is what I mean by wrongly. They take on loans, that is personal loans, to purchase liabilities or things that are more likely not to return any form of income into their pockets. That is, things that take money out of their pocket. So for instance, if you were to take a loan to purchase, a new shirt or probably to purchase a new pair of shoes, that shoes wouldn't generate any form of income, or that shirt might not necessarily bring any form of income in the near future. However, if you're to take a loan to purchase something like a house, which is what the ultra rich tend to do more often than not, the house is likely to generate some form of income in the form of rental income. And so what you need to know is that, as opposed to the general misconception that debt is bad and that you have to avoid debt altogether, you can use debt by leveraging debt in order to buy more assets and to acquire more assets that would in the long run actually return more income and then also ensure that you become financially free, just like the ultra rich. And that is something that the ultra rich tend to know so much. And more often than not, anytime that you borrow on a personal level, you're more likely to pay more in interest as opposed to corporate debt or corporate loans that they take from banks. And that is one of the surest ways for you to take advantage of debt, to leverage using other people's money, and then more importantly, to build wealth in the long run. Thank you for spending time with us, and see you in the next video.